We're going to be learning about social studies and language arts. So very interdisciplinary. Incorporating literacy skills, in those content area classes, as well as technology. We want to make sure our 21st century learners are prepared for all the things that they are going to see in high school, college, and beyond, again, in the workplace with jobs that aren't even created yet. And then lastly, being able to practically apply all the content that we're giving them. So again, for our visual learners, this is a picture of the Revised Bloom's Taxonomy pyramid, which is kind of one of those things as a teacher, it's all about Revised Bloom's Taxonomy. As far as our new Common Core standards, the verbs that are used as far as what the students should be able to do with our content are going to be from the applying, analyzing, evaluating, and creating. Remembering and understanding is not even in our standards anymore. Now, does that mean that we could go straight to applying if it's a concept the kids have never learned before? Absolutely not. The whole point is we have to push them beyond the remembering and the understanding. We can't stop at understanding, which is what the old North Carolina standards used to have be. That was sufficient. So that's just kind of a visual so you can see it. So with all of this, there's a lot of challenges that come up in the classroom as far as our students are concerned, because it can cause frustration. And frustration can lead to disengagement, and it can actually lead to almost avoidance of topics altogether. So some of the things, those challenges could include, there's no longer one right answer for a question. Now there can be a range. As long as students can give an answer, show their thought process, and justify it, that's good. So that can be very, very hard for our concrete thinkers. Now those that are automatically abstract, and they can take a Dixie cup, a pencil, and a rubber band and have a heyday for 8 hours, they're probably going to do okay with this. But that isn't, as far as developmentally even, that's a very, very hard skill to learn. And that is something that we are trying to teach and instill in the classroom. That's not going to be an overnight process, but one that we're dedicated to do. Now, second, collaboration is a learned skill and a process. Holy moly. If all of you think about your workplace, Mr. Schmitz, ones that you just, holy smokes, those people drive me crazy. And what do? You just close the door, and you keep doing your thing. Or some of you have to figure out a way to work with them. It's the same way for our students. It's no longer we put them in a pod of 4, give them a task and say, have fun, guys. Not that we ever did that. But just saying they have to learn how to work together for a common purpose. Even students who might not necessarily get along, we have to teach them skills of how to adapt and how to come together in order to get the common product finished. And then lastly, critical thinking and application. They require a lot more time, a lot more effort, and again, that leads to frustration. When they don't get it right away, maybe you're like, I need to get the 100 all the time, and if I don't think I can get it, I don't want to do it, right? There's going to be a lot more of the 100 is going to be really, really hard to get, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because, again, we're pushing them to grow. Now, that doesn't mean we aren't going to give the children every tool possible to be successful because at the end of the day, that is what we care about. We want the students to feel self-confident. We want them to feel successful in what they are doing. And we want them to see the light bulb go off all on their own, naturally with guidance, but ultimately all on their own. So this is going to affect us as far as testing is concerned. So you can kind of see our timeline of how we've been working. We started working with the Common Core in the summer of 2010, 2011, and we pretty much did all of our teacher work days was devoted to training. This year even, a lot of our teacher work days so far have been devoted to training. But this year we actually are implementing all of the Common Core and essential standards. Last year we spent it planning for this change. We worked on our curriculum maps and new lesson plans, new assessments, things like that. So this year we're going to be implementing them, and at the end of this year we will have our new Ready EOGs. Now, what is Ready EOG compared to regular EOG? For this year and next year, we will be taking a newly developed state assessment that is going to help prepare us for those national assessments I told you we were going to have in language arts and math. Those are going to be coming to us in 2015. These newly designed EOGs are supposed to be, the question styles are supposed to be similar, ultimately so that we can learn and prepare, saying, we need to focus on this, our kids had a really hard time, or this they did really, really well with, and we need to keep doing whatever it is that we were doing. Now, there is a kicker. We traditionally only have tests in language arts and math, except for 5th and 8th grade, where we have science EOGs as well. And then we have all of our high school EOCs. This year, they are implementing state-created tests called MSLs. That stands for Measures of Student Learning, or Common Exams. They keep going back and forth on the name for us, so we're just going to call them both. These exams are going to be at the end of the year for our other content areas, social studies and science. So from 4th grade up through 8th grade, we are going to have a Ready EOG in language arts and math, as well as an MSL in social studies and science. 3rd grade will still be tested in language arts and math, but no MSL. Now, there will be MSLs for science and social studies-based classes in high school, in addition to their regular scheduled EOC. Okay, so that's a lot. The MSLs are going to be more of a locally given. They're not going to be high security like the EOGs, but we still will have to, those scores will be reported to the state. In 2015, we'll have our new national assessments called Smarter Balance. Now on my blog, if you've seen, Curriculum Corner is also on Edline. I have a lot of information. I'm going to show you that on my Curriculum Corner page, and I encourage all of you, or any of you, to go on there and read some of the information on our Smarter Balance assessments, as well as the Common Core, just so you know. Now, the big difference in our old accountability tests, last year EOGs, to this year is our students have always had to prove a proficiency. They had to be on grade level. Now, it is all about growth. They have to know more tomorrow than they did today. And as long as they do, we're doing okay. So that is how we are looking at the classroom as well. We're looking at their growth. And that's why differentiating in the classroom is going to be so imperative of our teachers. But they're going to have a better idea of exactly, for your students, what are they struggling with and where are they really, really doing well. So, I just like this. A friend sent this to me, Benjamin Franklin. Tell me and I forget, teach me and I remember, involve me and I learn. We really are moving towards a time when students are involved in their learning process. It's no longer somebody just telling them what they're supposed to know. But we do want to encourage their passion to come back for school. We want them to start being creative and looking at things differently. And that's going to be, again, that is going to be a process to move back towards that. Because for a little while, everybody was saying, nope, you have to know this, this, and this, and there's only one way to do it. And now we're kind of retracting from that. So, as help. I've just targeted a couple of things. There's more on the Curriculum Corner Edline page, and they're broken down by grade level. If you want to know specifics for your child, and we have some cool little stickers that we're going to give you at the end that will give you the link to go find all this stuff. But the first step you guys have already done. Being in the know, coming to things like Parent University, reading up on the literature that's out there about these new changes. That is, I mean, ultimately just knowing what's going on is going to be a huge step forward. Then, because if you understand these changes in education and how Lincoln Charter School is dealing with this, you're going to be able to have better, richer conversations with the teachers as well as with your child. Because it really is, it does take a community to get that child to where they need to be in the end. And I think Lincoln Charter School is definitely the best place in the world in order to form that community. Third, talk to your children. In that book I was talking about, Creating Innovators, one of the major things with all of the parents that were interviewed for that, and there was like 9 different people that were interviewed and wanted to hear about their lives. And when I say lives, these people are like 25 to 30 years old. They're not very old. All of them, I'm getting agent. All of the parents said, we're just very active in conversation with our kids. We talk to them about our jobs, in addition to them telling me about school. And I know in middle school, I taught middle schoolers, they don't really want to talk to you anymore, but, you know, we can make them, whatever. But just talking to them, that is increasing their background knowledge because new vocabulary comes out in conversation, just new ways of thinking about things. The election's going on. Ask them how they feel about it, why they feel that way. Having them support their opinions, just having that dialogue with your kids, you won't even know. That will have such a huge impact on how they respond in class, as far as class discussions and things like that. Encourage your children to read complex texts. I know, we want them to read anything at this point, doesn't matter what it is, but if we can push them to read books, it exposes them to a lot of different ideas and words. The more words they know, the more background knowledge they're going to have about a lot more topics, which is going to help them in school. And our last 2, encourage your children to express their opinions. We kind of touched on that already. And then exposing them to as much as you can, encourage them to play. Unstructured play. Now I know with people's crazy schedules and ball games and this and that and whatnot, all of that is great. I know that just unstructured time is very hard to come by these days. But even if it's once a week where they actually have to I don't know, they're just sitting there again with a Dixie cup and a paper clip and a rubber band, what can they do with it? Most of them are going to go, oh, I'm bored, because they can't think to entertain themselves anymore. But play was a really, really big one in the book. So I wanted to put that there. Now, there's a whole list of resources. There will be some other parent universities. Those dates haven't been determined yet, but we will have them out to you. And I'm sure 500 alert nows and on the chatter and everywhere else, so we will let you know. My Edline page, would you mind just clicking on that so they can see it real fast? This is what Curriculum Corner looks on the Edline page. So you'll see I put everything from, scroll down just a little bit, Daniel. 10 hot technical skills for 2013. So those of you who might have any high schoolers in here, these are skills that jobs are looking for, right now. So there's all kinds of articles like that, and then you'll also see on the right-hand side, when you scroll up just a little bit, Daniel. Scroll up, thank you. On the right-hand side, if you're looking at it, you'll have all of the standards broken down by grade level. If you are interested in a little light reading tonight, or any other night for that matter. Our new accountability plan, as well as all my previous chatter blogs. If you haven't been keeping up with them, I log them all there so you can go back and read them as well. So this will be on a little sticker that we're going to give you before you leave. Okay? Now, without further ado, thank you very much for letting me talk to you. We are going to move into the highlight of the evening, where we get to laugh at some parents. And dance is really exciting. But we will do a question and
Tiffany, thank you for my introduction.
I am not smarter than a kindergarten grader.
I need 3 students. 3 students. Come on down. We don't have any dumb students in the church. All highly intelligent. Yes. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play a little game. Are you smarter than an LCS student? Let me get names here first. I want to make sure everybody knows our contestants. Okay? Okay. How many grades did you pass? Where did you get to? Did you get to high school or high school? Okay, in Georgia. Oh, yikes. Okay, so.
my name is Candace Nance.
All right, and I've heard that you are pretty proficient at 5th grade. You were there a couple times, I heard. Is that true? Only twice. Excellent. All right? All right, and I know her too well, so I won't give her a hard time. Till later. Till later, yes, I'll give her a hard time. All right, who do we got here? Margaret Powell. All right, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be clicking through some questions that are grade level questions. You can see the different grade levels up there. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you the questions. Our contestants are going to try and answer the questions the best they can. And then we're actually going to click through and see if you can tell if it's a new standard question or if it's an old standard question. So Ms. Mosher was able to go through and talk to you about the new standards. Hopefully you were listening better than I was, and you will be able to go ahead and click through or be able to choose which one and hopefully get it correct. So our first one, 5th grade math. Okay, you have markers in front of you. Our young students are already answering, and you guys are looking at them. Okay. We're 1 marker short. Do we have another marker? You can share. You can share. Wow. Wow, our 3 students have already answered. Ms. Harris, are you using your fingers on this one? I don't think you have enough fingers to do this there. Okay. All right, so let's see our answer. We have 6170. And our students have 6170. Okay. What is our answer? Wow, 6170. Give a round of applause. Excellent job. Now the question is, though, how we'll do this, I'll ask you if you agree that it's an old standard, raise your hand. If you, I'll then ask if it's a new standard, raise your hand, and do so, whichever one you agree with. How many of you think this question was an old standard? Raise your hand. All right. How many think it's a new standard? All right, a couple. There you go, that's good. All right, the correct answer is an old standard. So those of you, round of applause for those of you who got it correct. ELA. Do you know what ELA stands for? English Language Arts. Very good. Okay. You do try. It's good. What is the minimum number of words? I don't know if they have a whole lot in Georgia. So, I'm just kidding. Any of you from Georgia, I'm just kidding. What is the minimum number of words required to make a complete sentence? A, 2, B, 3, C, 5 to 6, or D, there is no minimum? What do you got? Our students have already answered. I'm not sure. Okay. So what do we have here? What's your answer? D. No minimum? Students? A. 2. I am. Okay. Sarah? D. Okay. No minimum. All right, students, go ahead and show us yours. A. Whoa. You don't know if you're right yet. You don't know if you're right yet. She's actually right. Go ahead. So, this is A. Very good. All right, question again. Is it a new standard? Raise your hand if you think it's a new standard question. Okay, several of you. All right, how many of you think it's an old standard? All right, and half of you didn't even try and answer it. Okay? It is an old standard question. All right, old standard question. Yes. It is. There was a lot to that question, I know. It still is old. Next one. Oh, 7th grade social studies. My students should know this one. The blank railroad connected the East Coast and the West Coast. It was built to help expand our nation's markets. What was it? And if you think back to Monopoly, it will not help you. No. We have Amtrak and really big. Wow. Amtrak is really good. We have our 3 students. We have the Transcontinental. Now, Amtrak is really close, but our correct answer is the Transcontinental Railroad. Good students. Now, again, I ask, is this a new standard question? Raise your hand if you think it is. Okay, some of you think it's a new standard. How many of you think it's an old standard? Okay, majority of you. And we have, the correct answer is an old standard. Now here's an example of what we're looking for. What was the significance of the Transcontinental Railroad? How did it change trade and commerce in America? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for critical thinking questions. All right, next question. Oh, 3rd grade math. This is tough. Yeah, I know you look nervous there. 18 plus 3. Little parentheses things next to it. I still don't know what it's called. Parenthesi. Brackets. Oh, that's a great term for brackets. Okay. What digit could go in the parentheses to create the great sum? What digit? That is a digit right there. I don't know doesn't count. You gotta put something down. All right. So our parents here go ahead, show your number. The amazing parents. Number 9. Okay, these are the old standard and the new standard. No, I'm just kidding. The correct answer is 9. Very good job. All right, our next question. Oh, actually, sorry. What is this? Is this old standard or is it new standard? How many of you think it's old standard? Raise your hands. Okay, how many of you think it's new? Okay, majority say new. You are correct. It is a new standard question. Okay, a basic addition question would be our old standards. Maybe they put the parentheses in there. Maybe that's what made it. Is that what made it fit me? I'm just kidding. Next question. Oh, this is a great one right here. This gets a little emotional. Okay, we're going to look at some more English and language arts. The next morning, as he trudged up the mountain, Hugh could think of nothing but the beautiful silver cow that was going to be sold. The music he played on his harp that day became increasingly melancholy until at last his eyes filled with tears. He could play no more. He stood up and threw his harp into the lake. So the question, little Hugh, according to the above excerpt, what does the word trudge suggest about Hugh's feelings as he went up the mountain? What was he feeling? Have you ever trudged up the mountain? He wants his Starbucks. That's close. Got a sad face. And sad. Okay. So let's see what we've got from the kiddos. Sad and melancholy. Well, I'm sorry, but you guys are both wrong. Okay, go ahead and click. The reality is, Hugh was not in a good mood and very upset. He was very sad. He attended the Panthers game just hours before and had a meltdown on the way. Yes, it was sad to watch the Panthers this year. And that face looked like Cam Newton's face right there. On the sideline. All right, so that is another round of applause for our students here and our parents. Those are some examples of our questions. Oh, right. Sorry, I forgot again. Is it old or is it new? Old or new? This is might be a tough one. Okay? Old. If you think it's an old question, raise your hand. Oh, because there's lots of words up there. We think it's new, right? All right. How many of you think it's a new standard? Okay? And the correct answer is, it is a new standard. Excellent job. All right. Again, round of applause for our contestants. Good job, students. All right. We're going to go ahead and open up for a time of questions. Hopefully, I don't get ridiculed anymore as I pass the mic.
Oh, you're converting the stage. Let's go. We would like to take a few minutes and just ask y'all if you have any questions for us. Now that the whole admin team is here to answer your questions. There was one that was sent in to me through email that I'm going to kick us off here. The question was, will Edline still be a viable place to see what my child needs to complete in class and review his progress, or will we need to have another resource for these changes to be monitored? And I am going to give this question to lucky Mr. Bryant. Come on down.
The answer to that question, did everybody hear that question? Will Edline still be a part of what we do here, and will it be our academic method of communication? The simple answer to that is yes, absolutely yes. From what we understand as administration and from the school, you as parents like Edline and you appreciate what it does, and so we will continue to do that because we want you to know what's going on in class. We want you to know how your student is being assessed, and we want you to know what is expected for your student and for you to help support the efforts that we take here at school. So, simple answer, yes.
Anybody else have any questions for the good of the group? If they're for a personal, if you're a personal class or anything like that, we will hang around afterwards and we can do those. But for the good of the group, yes, ma'am. change in the curriculum for him immediately. That change is really going to be coming around. They're still going to have to know sight words. We're still teaching children to read from kindergarten to third grade. After third grade, they're reading to learn. So we still believe that. However, with things like math or science or social studies, we might do more of a discovery model where we present different manipulatives to them first. Then we fill in the blanks, see what their observations are. Exposing them, they watch something on, we have a program called Discovery Education where it's a lot of academic videos. We might show them something up there first and see, oh, what'd you notice about that? So they can start saying what they observe before we automatically tell them what they're supposed to know, if that makes sense. So doing a lot of things center-based learning and inquiry-based learning where they're learning how to question instead of just answer questions. It'll be somewhat of a balanced model there because they are building a foundation in those younger primary grades. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am. Jonathan! Okay, he's not far. I'm just kidding.
So will we see on that line what you were talking about the
Formative?
will we see those words as far as
You will start to see those words specifically in middle school. I don't know how old your child is. You'll see more of those words in Edline next year for the younger grades. But for this year, it was something we were really doing on a trial basis with our middle school, categorizing assignments as formative and summative to see, okay, how is this going? We need to educate our families. We didn't want to just do wham bam to everybody. But that is a good way to think of it is when a teacher says classwork, if it's a collaborative group assignment that they do in class, or sometimes even homework can be a formative assessment because it's going to let us know, are they understanding what we're doing in class today? So you can kind of think about them in the same way. When you see a classwork assignment in Edline, you can generally, that's going to be a formative assessment. So you might hear those things in conferences, in emails back and forth with your teacher. That's why we just wanted to give you some awareness as far as what those types of assessments were. But you will see them used a lot more often next year. Anybody else? Great questions. Yes?
So, a lot more on teachers. So, what outside of the additional training you receive, as well as the feedback from the get what other support are they getting from the administrators and what other feedback?
Oh, great question. Yes, his question was, and tell me if I get it wrong, what additional, besides the trainings that all the teachers have gone to on the Common Core, what additional support from administration are they getting in order to implement the Common Core correctly? Did I get it? Okay. Well, I'm going to somewhat put that back on myself. As the curriculum coordinator, I meet with all teachers of grade levels and content areas, including the special area teachers. I meet with them when I'm at their building. We do grade level meetings, and then once a month we do vertical team meetings to make sure that we are staying in alignment from one grade level to the next, where we are doing everything from evaluating our practice. We are constantly evaluating our year-long pacing guides, our assessments, making sure that they are directly in line with what the standards are going to be expecting our children to do. We are evaluating our instructional practice, and they're using each other as far as new strategies to use in the classroom. What's working for your class that I can do in mine? There's a lot of that going on. This past Friday on our teacher work day, we did vertical meetings from K through 3, we did 4 through 6, and 7 through 12 to start really diagnosing some of the challenges that we're seeing with our students from grade level to grade level so that we could really start to address that in our everyday instructional strategies so that the students are even more prepared for the following year. So those are just a couple of the ways that we're really attacking this. Teachers are the Department of Public Instruction is doing a lot of day seminars on specific content areas. For example, I'm taking a team of teachers across K-12 in language arts and math, and we're going to UNC Charlotte next Thursday to be learning about different strategies and things that DPI has found working across the state. So we do those periodically all throughout the year. They do a lot of ones on technology, 21st century learning. So we really are jumping in, and I would say from what we've seen in different things where we're with a lot of other schools across the state, Lincoln Charter School is well ahead of a lot of other traditional public schools as well as charter schools in our region. So I think we are very well prepared at this point. We have a long way to go, but we feel really good about it. And Ms. Rochelle, thank you guys.
Any other questions? One advantage that Tiffany was talking about is the fact that we've been a Cornell school for as long as we have. That really plays into this new curriculum that we're doing. And actually, the people that were the main research people behind Cornell were very involved in implementing this across the country. So our teachers and our students are a little ahead of the curve, thank goodness. Another thing that we do provide for our teachers is they get free counseling every Friday from we provide ladders to get them off the ledge and back on the. We're asking so much more of our teachers than we ever have. We're not buying a book that aligns with this curriculum when they start page 1 and finish page 500. We're asking them to pool resources, go on the internet. So they're working twice as hard as they